Hey guys, so I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and we're students at Fairfield University School of Nursing, here to tell you the truth about the HPV vaccine. HPV is the most common sexually transmitted infection. It's a different virus from HIV or herpes. 79 million Americans, mostly in their late teens and early 20s, are infected with this virus. There are many different types of HPV. Some types can cause health problems. These problems include genital warts and cancers. However, there are vaccines out there that can help stop these health problems.
HPV vaccine is an inactivated, not live, virus which protects against 4 major types of HPV. These include 2 types that cause about 70% of cervical cancer and 2 types that cause about 90% of genital warts. HPV vaccine can prevent most genital warts and most cases of cervical cancer. Protection from HPV vaccine is expected to be long-lasting. But vaccinated women still need cervical cancer screening because the vaccine does not protect against all HPV types that cause cervical cancer. HPV vaccine is routinely recommended for girls 11 and 12 years of age. Doctors may give it to girls as young as 9 years old. Okay, so the first myth that we found is that only women can get HPV. In fact, men can get HPV too. Most sexually active men and women will have at least one HPV infection at some point in their lives, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. Any person who is sexually active can contract HPV even if you've only had one sexual partner.
The second myth that we're going to talk about is that all strains of HPV can cause cancer. In fact, HPV can cause anal, cervical, penile, vaginal, and vulvar cancers. However, not all strains cause cancer. High-risk strains that can cause cancer are the strains 16 and 18. These strains cause cervical cancer. However, the National Cancer Institute reports that the most high-risk HPV infections can go away within 1 to 2 years and don't cause cancer.
Okay, so the third myth that we found is that if you don't have sex, you won't get HPV. The real fact behind this is that HPV can be spread through skin-to-skin, oral, anal, or vaginal sex. Condoms can lower your risk of contracting HPV, but you can still contract the virus through protected sex if there's skin-to-skin contact.
Another myth that we found is that men can get screened for HPV. In fact, HPV can be diagnosed for women using a Pap test, also called a Pap smear. However, the FDA has yet to approve a test to screen HPV in men.
Okay, the fifth myth that we found was there are treatment options available for HPV. The fact behind this is that although healthcare professionals can treat precancerous lesions and genital warts that are caused by HPV infections, there's no treatment available for the virus.
Another myth that we found is that people with HPV always have symptoms. In fact, most people who have HPV don't develop any symptoms. Although there are many potential health problems associated with HPV, such as genital warts and certain types of cancer, including cervical cancer, most people don't develop health problems from an HPV infection. The CDC reports that in 90% of HPV cases, a person's immune system fights off the infection within 2 years.
Okay, so the seventh myth that we found was if I got the HPV vaccine, I don't need to get a Pap smear. So this is false because, in fact, even if you get the HPV vaccine, you still need to get regular Pap smears to screen for cervical cancer. The 2 HPV vaccines, Gardasil and Cervarix, protect against 2 high-risk HPV strands, type 16 and type 18, that cause cancer. The vaccine is a preventative measure and doesn't help people who are already infected with the virus, which is why they're recommended for people in their 20s or younger. While both vaccines are available for women, only Gardasil is available for men. And that concludes our video on HPV vaccine. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren.
Thanks for watching.